I just seen a video, kind of fucking pissed me off actually. It was titled "Why Not to Be an Artist." Instantly, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, kind of negative ass message is that, you know? So I was just like, "Well, it's only a couple minutes. Let me see what this is all about," because it's probably flipped around. It actually ends up being a positive message. But I don't know. It just the guy that had the video, it just wasn't really clicking with me. It wasn't really. He seemed like he was really giving up. He seemed, but like not really. Like it just seemed like he was trying to be pretentious or something. I don't know. Like it just didn't fit. It didn't make sense. And maybe I'm not the best at voicing that, you know? And that's a great reason why not to be an artist, because people expect you to be perfect in every aspect in life, when in reality that's bullshit. You don't really see things the way that I see things. Just because I don't say them in a way that's perfect for you to take. It's perfect for me to take, but it's, am I cooking spaghetti for everybody, or am I cooking spaghetti for myself? It's not a bad thing to be an individual. I'd love to share, but if we don't have the same personal taste, then why are we listening to this music if it's just going to make everybody upset? I enjoy it a lot. It's perfect for me. But, you know, maybe somebody doesn't quite like one particular spice that's in there, and then it ruins it for me, but, you know, it's great for everybody else. See what I'm saying? That's kind of, in a nutshell, the worst part about being an artist is, like, I'm making this for myself. I'm not really making this for anybody else but myself, for my own eyes to enjoy. I hope that you like it too. It is for you to enjoy as well, but I'm going to make it for myself first, so that people can, you know, understand me and actually analyze what my life is about and what my art is about and the purpose that I have here on this earth. So I wrote some stuff down in anger about that, and so I want to portray it angrily because it is angry. So I'm just going to read it here. It might not be perfect for you, but I'm just going to read it so that I say what I want to say. It doesn't matter how centered you are. People will not see things from your way around. Even if they see something, they aren't you. They didn't develop the way that you did. They developed the way that they did. There's people like that they just like to see the bad in it, and because they couldn't do it for themselves, you know? They couldn't apply themselves to it. They couldn't really take the time to see how much effort was put into that, or appreciate any little bit about it. They just wanted to shit on it and make themselves feel better about themselves and make the other person feel completely useless on this earth, you know? And, you know, it's as simple as just not seeing the good in something. Maybe it's not that great. Maybe it's sloppy and you don't like the way it looks, but you could pick something about it, and you don't have to. Who cares if you feel bad about, like, wow, I don't want to sound like I don't like it, so I'm just not going to say anything. No, say what you really mean. Help that person grow. Like, it's not the only art that they'll ever do. Like, they can learn from that and grow from it. Maybe they'll throw it away. Who cares? And they'll you know, grow from that. They'll be appreciative that they had it in them to let go of it and throw it away. Or maybe improve it. Or maybe it'll help you see things from a new perspective. So here's kind of an analogy, is rock climbing. I've recently went rock climbing, and naturally I want to just leap and bound up the rocks and get above the rocks and get to the top. But when you climb, you kind of end up taking kind of a a harder route, or like you make it more challenging, and that just like it goes so much against my nature of just leaping above the rock. But really it's so much more impressive to do it that way and find little crimps and crevices to climb up, and your toe hooks and all this and that, and and it really changed my perspective on rocks completely. Like, I did not see rocks the way that I do now. And that's, you gotta take the time to let these things grow on you. I mean, it's like the notion of a rolling stone. Rolling stone gathers no moss. It's like, well, you know what? Sometimes you need to stop and let that moss grow on you to realize that you shouldn't have stopped. But because you can keep going, you can let go of that moss, you can let go of these things. It's just, the more complacent you get, the worse it gets, and it doesn't matter how deeply you've got into it, you can still keep going. As selfish as it might be for other people, those other people got to see, that they shouldn't be doing that they shouldn't be so attached to this thing. They should be rolling themselves. They shouldn't be the moss, they should be the stone. Moving on. Just people like to feel better about themselves. I mean, so many people forget that art has a life of its own beyond when you're finished with it. I mean, look, this painting, I did super spontaneous Jackson Pollock style, and then I actually ended up kind of painting in between here too a little bit. I actually touched the brush to the canvas a little bit to kind of fill it in and make it my own sort of way. Just kind of a different, unique niche, which isn't really that impressive, but I didn't see anybody else doing that. There's probably somebody else that did that, but I never saw it before. So I just thought, that's my little homage to Jackson Pollock. And I was able to kind of, use that as therapy and kind of got some frustration out of me. And I ended up naming this one To Love. And it's got so much life beyond the art. Like, whoever inherits this, it's going to reflect in somebody else, and somebody else might see that and do the same thing, or maybe they'll just think not to do that, or maybe, maybe there's something to it beyond that. Me talking about it right now. That's the life beyond it. And it goes even beyond that, too. It's posthumous. People don't like to say that because it's like, oh, death. But it's like, you know what? These things keep going. They have life beyond life. I love to embrace that, because I don't see any artists really doing that. Hardly at all, really. I mean, there's a few, but nobody really likes to be so open about it because they think it brings on something, but it doesn't. It just gets people to open up their eyes a little bit and see it for what it really genuinely is, It's like, I'm not trying to get an A+ in school. I'm transcending my reality. I'm transcending my body. I'm alive right now, so I'm going to portray this thing that lives beyond me and get people to see, whoa, like, that guy was really onto something there. Whatever, have some profound epiphany. It doesn't really matter what it means exactly. Maybe what matters is that you come up with something original, because of this energy that I gave you. It's a recycling of energy at its absolute core. It's not really the art itself. This doesn't matter. The image doesn't matter. It's just that energy that I portrayed. I gave it to you because you didn't have that. Now you do. So moving on. Why spend all this time, energy, money to reflect such a stupid world we live in that doesn't value a positive perspective? The duality will only take you so far. Have you ever been sober and still go to a bar? Maybe you don't have that social lubricant so that your words flow out perfectly. Maybe people don't like to listen to you because, like, you're not so polished anymore. You're a little bit weathered. Maybe some people like that weathering a little bit too. It shows character, shows that you've lived a little bit and you keep going anyways. You know? Life ain't perfect, and pretty much everybody's gonna figure it out eventually. And it's annoying that people try to look all shiny and perfect. I've never really cared to be that way. I've liked that I've got paint all over my clothes and that maybe I got a hole or something in it somewhere. It's not designer fucking brand name bullshit. It keeps me warm. You know, there's function to what I'm doing, and I've got my own style with it too. It's my own unique thing because I've got paint all over it, and I'm embracing my true purpose in life. I'm not trying to be all sharp and uppity like I don't need to be at all. It's a fucking waste of money that way, in my opinion. It's not even my opinion, that's just the reality. But most people like to be all sharp and fancy, and I hate that. I hate that so much. I hate it so much. Just be comfortable. Who fucking cares what other people think? I mean, it's just that, man. Like, that's why not to be an artist. Because people judge you. Because people think stupid stuff about it. And because they think that you should be something that you're not. You know, they think that you should be some endless supply of energy and you can do anything, you can paint anything, like you can just, no, like you don't understand how hard it is to do these things. And if you're going to give me an idea that isn't in line with what I'm doing, you're going to burden me with having to reject you. Moving on. What's the point? What's the meaning? What's the purpose? What's the due date? What's the deadline? What's the timeline? I could have done that myself. Or nobody could have done this except for me. Here's a big one, is what's left of originality? It's all been done before, hasn't it? Well, if you have that mindset, I guess so. If you keep digging, you might find one little nugget. There's still gold out there. You won't be the first person to find it. Other people have found it first. Some people probably don't even know what I just nudged to, but the ones that do, you're cool. You're cool with me. Anywho, I'll let you try to figure that little nugget out. You know, why do people care too much about what other people think? Why don't we let go of those failures? Why must we forget everything that we got? Ooh, let me back up so I don't mess that one up, because this one's one of my favorite mottos in life that I originally made up myself, actually. I'm very proud of myself for this. Why must we forget everything that got us here? You know, so my motto is pretty much that same sort of thing, just worded differently. It's to not forget everyone and everything that got you here. You know, so when I'm running and when I'm, struggling, it's whether it's a positive or a negative, whether I'm fueled by, like, so grateful that these people got me here, or whether it's, I'm so mad that these people didn't help me when they should have. Why did they do that? They didn't need to do that, It's like, I'm going to prove you wrong anyways, It's either or of those. It's mixed together, and I am here now. I love that. Was I angry enough? Is this me? Why do I call it quits only to turn around and keep painting? That's a great question. Why do I cave in to my desires? I'll tell you why. Not to be an artist. It's the last thing that people want to buy. It's the unneeded cherry on top of the museum of a house. You know, it's like, I keep going back to the same sort of thing. It's like, it's pretentious to sit here and say that these paintings are worth millions of dollars. But give it 100 years, give it a couple 100 years. It might be. I'm not gonna see that money. It's like Vincent van Gogh. Like, he should have been a fucking millionaire. He only sold one painting. I've sold more paintings than Vincent van Gogh. That is ridiculous. He's a way better painter than I will ever be. He's so much more original and, like, confident in his brushstrokes and just reached so far beyond, the traditional way of doing things in such a good way, Like, there is never going to be another Vincent van Gogh. I mean, people can copy his style all they want, but he was the one that did it first, And so, all his paintings now are fetching millions and millions of dollars. He never saw any of that. What if he did, though? It's like, what if he saw just a little bit of it, at least, Just enough to get me by so I can, complete the rest of what I've got up here. I feel worthy of it. Did I go out there and become a businessman, become an entrepreneur, and listen to all these people who just listen to the money? They don't listen to themselves. It's generally the people that listen to the money that ignore themselves. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to ignore myself. I'm not going to ignore how I feel just to make a buck. Whether that, affects me, good or bad, doesn't matter. I'm going to stay true to what I'm doing here. Because there's way too many people out there screwing everybody else over just to make a dollar, just to make a buck, to get by. And I get it. You got to survive. But you also don't have to make this place a worse place. Let's appreciate our surroundings. Why be an artist? There's the best reason to be an artist. Is to appreciate the world that you live in. At its core. Appreciate it. Make it a better place. That's the sole purpose of doing art, is to make the world a better place. That's it. Your job is to do that. To make the world a better place. Now, it's so much more. There's so much more. And that's up to you to figure out and put meaning to something. Do that work for other people to enjoy and appreciate. No, nobody needs direction unless it's their own. I guess what I'm saying by that is artists tend to do art for other artists, which doesn't really make sense because most artists don't have that much money. They generally just see the meaning and purpose in life, and other people like to steal that from them and apply it to themselves and not really ever give back to that artist, even though they're the ones who got them there. They just like to forget who got them there, and no wonder they topple over eventually. But, anywho. And I guess the other thing too is it's kind of just people have ways of life and they don't like to think beyond that. They don't like to be open to other people's perspectives. And if they are, they generally like to challenge them and, not really understand it. And they don't really understand. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just people have different perspectives. We don't all have to be the same. That'd be kind of stupid, honestly. If everybody was the same. You need different perspectives now and then to kind of recenter yourself and like, oh, no, this is how I am. Maybe that's all it is it's for you to realize, that's not me. I'm going to be myself, And maybe you totally would have completely forgot yourself otherwise. And most people don't respect that and, most people aren't very grateful for that, even if it's not exactly how that they would have been. They wouldn't have had their perspective otherwise, and generally it ends up being kind of a negative perspective. A lot of times it does. So, well, you're stupid because you're not like me. And it's like, well, you just called me stupid, so. Moving on. Nobody needs therapy unless they go themselves. And what I mean by that is like the art is my therapy. Listening to other people talk shit about me is not my therapy. And so that's the life beyond the art, is to get people to see, hey, don't cause me therapy. I might cause myself a little bit of therapy, but you don't cause me therapy, okay? Nobody needs the outlet. Nobody wants to charge. People don't like to take the time and really, really, really figure themselves out and accept that they are wrong and that they should change or update things or learn and grow or know or let go. People do not care. And you're too afraid to face them. Artists don't even care. You're their competition. They're going to hold back. They're not going to say something. Maybe they have extreme admiration for you, but they just don't say it because they don't want you to do better than them or whatever, It's like, that's stupid. I've always taken, I don't care if it ends up making it so that you're better than me. I'm going to tell you what I like about I'm going to be golden about it. I'm going to treat you the way that I would like to be treated. That's pretty much how I treat people, always. I give them the world. I give them exactly what I would want if I were in their shoes. That's how I've always taken it. Always. I don't care how shitty your art is or how good your art is. I'm going to try to find a way to help you and appreciate you and help you do even better. And point out something that maybe somebody else didn't see. And it's that little golden nugget that's like, oh, yes. Like, yes, you saw that. That's what I'm looking for. It's the things that most people don't see. It's that one little thing. Like, hey, wait a second. There's that little, nice. Maybe you don't. I think the hardest part about it for me is that I can't stand up for what I believe in. And because of that, nobody believes in my reality. That I'm transcending this world because it's not 1,000 years from now. I'm not speaking directly to someone 1,000 years from now. I will 1,000 years from now, spiritually. I'll enter them and help them paint their paintings. But maybe you don't believe me. Maybe it's only 20, 30 years from now. Maybe it's a lot faster than you think. Maybe you think I'm a complete nut job and don't think that spirits are real, but I'm gonna haunt you, and I'm gonna be a friendly ghost. Anywho, not sounding too much like of a nut job. You're better off alone. You're better off doing your own thing. You're better than everyone, and that'd throw off everything what everyone else is doing, because they're on a primitive level. They're doing good, they're making progress, but you're way the fuck up here, so it's hard for you to progress because you've already reached the ceiling, beyond the ceiling. And so anything that you do is just going to totally wipe out everything else. So you might as well just shut up and not do art anymore, even though yours is always going to be better regardless of what you do. It's always going to show that timeline. It's going to be very interesting to see the growth there and to see why this person had that perspective. Wanted to get the fuck out of here, that's why. It's fucking selfish to be so unselfish. To give all your secrets away and give everyone a chance to be the best version of themselves that they could ever be. To not communicate with the gods. To not reach the heavens. To not spite someone else. To not transcend your environment. To put food on the table. To deny personal growth. To lie to yourself. To not tell your unbelievable story. To survive the bullshit. To see through to the other side. People will laugh at you because they couldn't apply themselves to you. Think with me. Don't think about me, think about you. Think about how you could do better. Not to be better than someone else around you. The only person around you that you need to be better than is yourself. So how do I grow? I just make it up on my own rather than sit there and read it from a script. There's one little thing that I could do to be better. I could sit here and have a conversation with an actual person rather than just talk to myself and record it. But maybe that's necessary. Maybe other people need to see that so that they know that they're not crazy either. And to show that they could grow that way as well. It worked for me. Whether or not I ended up making a whole bunch of money from it or not, it doesn't matter. That's not the success. The success is doing better than yourself. That's it. If I can go ahead and take that step further and help other people do that, man, that is brownie points. Big time brownie points. I would love to be able to help other people do better than themselves. But I can't do that. They're not going to take me seriously unless I do better than myself. if I don't lead by example. And that's the other part about why it's so hard to be an artist, is because if you got good looks, it doesn't even matter your art. If you're hot, people will like your stuff because you're more likely to reproduce. That's kind of how it is, That's the humanness of it. Or if you got some sort of personality, if you got some sort of character that you can kind of keep up with. If you don't have that, then you're useless. Even if your art is genuinely better than those people, doesn't matter. It's just how the world is. It's better to accept that and do your best with what you've got. Be grateful for what you have than it is to be so upset about it. But that being said, be real. Don't be afraid to throw it all away just to, say what you want to say. Doesn't really matter. You don't have that much to lose anyways. Make them think that you lost your mind. Prove them wrong. Make them wonder why they're artists. Why should you be an artist? Huh?